Here's why your opportunity to get rich now is ending. There are 5 stages to becoming rich. I call these trapped, launching, gaining momentum, high Earth orbit and GOAT. Together, they make up the Strike It Big journey. With the economy on the brink of crisis, there has never been a better time to go from high Earth orbit to GOAT level, where you can do anything you like at a drop of a hat, like book spontaneous trips abroad whenever you wish. But this window of opportunity will close within the next 1 to 3 years. So how can you get to this stage before time runs out? Well, as you can probably tell from my hair colour, I've been through all of this before, and I can assure you that every stage requires you to master a certain set of skills. Because the clock is ticking and everything is working against you, I've decided to make this video so that you know exactly what you need to do before it's too late. I'm also going to share something with you that goats understand that most people are oblivious to. Hi guys, it's Mark. So, I've got some bad news. Life is designed to trap you. Yep, the reason you feel like you've been thrown into the deep end without any preparation or guidance is because that's exactly what's happened. The system knows that your time is limited, and if they can confuse you just enough to take your eye off the ball, then they can turn you into one of their debt slaves. A debt slave is someone that works a dead-end job in order to pay their bills and maybe even a mortgage if they're lucky. Their existence is purely focused on making the rich and powerful even more wealthy. The national debt clock is sitting at around $30 trillion and increasing by the second. If that doesn't prove that our society is built on debt, then I don't know what will. You may think I'm exaggerating, however, currently 58% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and as time passes, I can only see this increasing. The powerful and elite have actually outlined their plan in broad daylight and called this the Great Reset. You've probably heard the famous phrase, "You will own nothing and be happy." Well, this comes directly from the World Economic Forum. They predict a world where people will no longer own the things they use in everyday life. Imagine the government owning your home, and when you go on a trip away, they just let someone else move in and use your space. This will be the death of ownership, and therefore it will be almost impossible to escape society's trap. That's just the harsh reality we're facing. The trap is a combination of lies, financial barriers, and false beliefs. Let me explain. You may have heard the saying, money doesn't make you happy. This is one of the biggest lies of all time. It was created by the rich and powerful in order to control the poor. They then pretend to have your back with state pensions. Also, you start believing being wealthy doesn't matter that much. However, the average pension in the USA sits at roughly $13,000, and in the UK it's £21,000 per year. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like a pretty miserable future to look forward to. Money grants you freedom, and freedom leads to happiness. Trust me, I'd know. I've never met anyone that actually enjoys being controlled by society. It's just not in our nature. The rich will keep getting richer. It's inevitable. So why not join them? To remove the chains holding you back, you need to make the decision to do what is right, not what is easy. This means not spending all your money on bills and luxuries, and instead build up some cash reserves and pay off any high interest debt. If that means living somewhere cheaper or saying no to the latest drip for a brief period of time, then you have to make the short-term sacrifice. This goes against every instinct we have, as now more than ever people value short-term gratification over bigger rewards in the future. However, if you can fight these urges, then you will build up a nice cash reserve. When you have money put by, you have options, and you can launch your rocket. Now you're launching, you have a completely new set of issues. If you think about it, this makes sense, as when a rocket is stationary, the only force holding it back is the surrounding scaffolding. However, when it starts flying, it's met with intense pressure and gravitational pull. This is exactly what you're about to experience. More than 50% of people don't even get to this stage, which means this is when you might start to see the differences between you and your friends. They might not be worried about these following issues, but that makes sense as they're not on the same mission to become wealthy. The first problem you'll encounter is inflation. This is the increase in prices and the fall in the purchasing power of our money. It's kind of like the build-up of heat on the outside of the rocket. If you don't regulate the temperature, then it could cause your mission to end in a big ball of flames. Inflation is constant and very apparent at the moment. In the USA, the last CPI figure stated it was 8.3%, and in the UK, more than 9%, which is a 40-year high. But many people, including myself, believe that it's actually much higher, as these figures can be heavily manipulated. This is the reason in the 1940s the average home was just $3,000, but today it costs $375,000. This is only going to get worse because during the pandemic, the governments all around the world printed an unprecedented amount of money. I'm worried that in a couple of years' time, the heat of inflation will become too much for many people to bear. In addition to this, 70% of Americans think a recession is coming. This is defined as a significant economic decline that lasts more than a few months. I'm noticing a fall in sales in my businesses, which is leading me to cut marketing spend in certain areas and improve the efficiency of my team by letting a few people go. This impending recession could restrict your money supply. This is your fuel, and as you can imagine, if you ran out, it would be a disaster. You're also going to face haters that want to pull you back down. Many people believe they can't become rich as it's too hard. They've given up and want you to do the same. If you end up achieving what they haven't, then they have to face the harsh reality that they missed their shot. To weather the intense pressure and gravitational pull, you need to start investing. Damien Talks Money put this brilliantly in the Strike It Big episode, which is out on Friday the 15th of July.
Have you ever played like Gran Turismo or a racing game where you've got a ghost car? Inflation is that ghost car. And if you've got your money in a bank account, you're just sat still. You need something that can outpace inflation.
Starting investing may seem very daunting. That is understandable, and we've all been there. At this stage, I would focus on investing a consistent monthly amount into an index fund like the S&P 500, which has historically returned 8% per year and beaten inflation. There's very little you need to learn in order to be confident with an investment like this, as it's almost set it and forget it. I mean, if you can put in $200 per month at an 8% average yearly return over the next 45 years, you'll have over $1 million, and the amount you put in will be only just over $100,000. Now, that's a lot of compound interest. If you're going to start investing, then you might as well get a free stock slice worth between $3,000 and $1,000 if you're in the USA from public.com. I'll leave the link in the description below. I'll also look for some free stock deals for people outside the USA, and if I find any, then they'll be linked below as well. Just remember, only invest what you can afford to go without, and don't starve yourself of cash, as there is a lot we need to do in the next stage. Now you're starting to gain some real momentum, but what got you here won't be enough to carry you to the next stage. Well, unless you want to become a millionaire when you're old. This is the time to push. You need to make it out of the gravitational pull completely so that you can really start to take advantage of the current opportunities, as they're not going to be here forever. At this stage, there are 3 C's that I focused on that increase my momentum dramatically. These are cash flow, connections, and confidence. Let's start with cash flow. You need a constant supply of money coming into your bank account so that you're able to use it to make more money. You can't play chess without the pieces, and cash is your pawns. The best way to do this is to start a business that instantly generates cash. I'm not talking about the business that's going to go on to make you a billionaire. That could take years of investments to break a profit. You need something that puts money in your pocket right now. Usually, this is a business that provides a valuable service. Now, this might not be highly scalable, however, that doesn't matter right now. All you need to focus on is bringing cash in the door. Now for connections. It's so important to surround yourself with the right people, as they can have a huge impact on your momentum. It's no accident that my best friend also built a multi-million-dollar business. By talking to like-minded people, it can open your eyes to new opportunities and also motivate you to push harder. The last C is confidence. This is the one most people lack. The problem with lacking confidence in your own abilities is that it prevents you from going out on a limb and taking calculated risks. Life is kind of like a game of snakes and ladders. You never win the game by taking one step at a time. You need to find the ladders in a sea of snakes. High Earth orbit is the stage you need to reach within the next 1 to 3 years. Well, that's if you want to take advantage of the closing opportunity to become rich. Now it's about time I actually told you why this is only a brief window of opportunity. As I've previously mentioned, we are most likely heading into a recession. We're also seeing asset prices fall like crazy from their peak. weeks. You just need to be in a position to take advantage of this huge sell that's happening. That's exactly why reaching high Earth orbit as soon as possible is so important, as you'll be able to look down on all these cheap assets and start buying them up. Many people get to this level and then waste a huge amount of their money buying their own home. Let me make one thing very clear. Your home isn't a good investment, it's a liability. Your home's primary purpose is providing you somewhere to live and does not yield any sort of income. It also takes money out of your pocket every month for bills and maintenance. Looking at your home like an investment will only negatively impact you in later life. And let's be real, no one wants to sell their house when they retire. You want to be able to retire comfortably and live out the rest of your days in the dream home that you purchased. House appreciation will only positively impact your kids should they decide to sell once you pass. The first stages were all about hustling, however now your approach has to change to a more calculated one. This is kind of like docking at a space station. You can't just aggressively accelerate, you need to strategically guide it in with smart jets of propulsion. Remember, little moves generate huge results, especially now you're free of that nasty gravitational pull. Now there are two different ways to move forward from here. One is high conviction plays and the other is diversification. The one you choose will entirely depend on your risk tolerance. You'll hear YouTubers, including myself, banging on about the importance of building a diversified portfolio as it's a great way to protect your wealth. However, the issue is it takes much longer to become wealthy when you spread yourself thinly. Many of the top billionaires put all their eggs into one or two baskets that they have an extensive background in. This could be your own unicorn business, individual stocks, cryptocurrency, or alternative investments like watches. So now you have a big decision to make. Are you going to go the safer, slower way of diversification or the riskier, faster way of high conviction plays? Once you've reached over $1 million in net worth, you are officially a GOAT. I like to imagine this like docking at the Elysium space station, a paradise. There is everything you can imagine here and you're able to do anything you want without worrying about money. You can begin living the life broke you always dreamed of. The passive income is rolling in, your investments are on the rise, giving you a strong sense of wealth. Maybe, just maybe, you'll feel too big to fail. But there's one secret long-term GOATs know that I'm about to share with you, and that is the importance of community. The world's richest people, I'm talking Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and whoever else springs to mind, all have a network that contribute to their net worth. I mean, do you really think Elon Musk is waking up and grabbing a fast food breakfast with his old school friends? Of course he's not, because they never made it. Connecting with people who are at or above your level is so important when on the pursuit of wealth, power, and freedom. This same rule applies for when you're at any stage on the Strike It Big journey. There is always someone just ahead of you that can offer you a helping hand. The outpouring of support from my community when I had my accident was overwhelming, and I wanted you guys to be able to interact and help each other. That's why I've recently created a free Discord community, and people are absolutely loving it. The individuals in this community are like-minded people that want to reach GOAT tier as soon as humanly possible. I'm also jumping in there regularly with my son Curtis and the rest of the team, which gives you exclusive access to successful young entrepreneurs to take your calls and answer your questions directly. Everything we do is community focused, so if you have any suggestions, then I'm more than happy to hear your thoughts. This could easily be the most powerful network you join. I'll leave a link in the description if you're interested. Again, it's completely free of charge. So I'm going to leave the next video right up there, but don't click on it just yet. Make sure to subscribe if you want to grow your wealth, okay? I'll see you over there.